Okay, so let's go ahead and look at number 2. So here we're talking about an apple being launched directly upward 64 feet per second from an 80-foot platform. Okay, now all of that here in this first little couple sentences, we really don't need to know anything except for the equation. Okay, they're giving us the equation. We don't need to build the equation or anything like that. But if you notice, we have the initial velocity 64 right there. And then here, this time as well, we have that we're shooting this off of an 80-foot platform. So that's going to be my constant in here. Okay, so when we need to find the maximum height, what do? We find the y coordinate, or this time let's use their variables. We need to find the h coordinate of the vertex. So that's my game plan. I need to find the h coordinate of the vertex. Well, to find the t, the t, okay, that's going to be negative b all over 2a. So if you look at my equation, what's my b? My b is 64. So I have negative 64, right? Because my negative sign is built in. So negative 64 all over 2 times negative 16. Okay, and when we punch that into a calculator, we're going to go ahead and that will give me a 2. Okay, so what does that mean? 2 means that it's going to take 2 seconds for it to reach its maximum height. Okay, but they don't want to know how many seconds it takes to reach its maximum height. They actually want to know what is the height. So all we have to do is take that 2 and plug it into my equation wherever I see a t. So my h is equal to negative 16, 2 squared, plus 64 times 2 plus 80. Okay? And after we punch that into a calculator, we end up getting 144 feet. Okay, so much better when it worked out. Had all those crazy decimals, right? The calculation gets to be a little bit easier. So my maximum height is, 144 square feet. All right, so let's look at so just like before, when you're looking for the position of it being on the ground, you're looking at where it is on that x-axis, okay, those x-intercepts. So what we have to do is you take your equation, okay, so we have h equals negative 16 t squared plus 64 plus 80. And the very first thing you need to do is erase the h and put 0, okay? Because we want the height to be 0. All right, so let's go ahead and factor. So I first noticed that I can factor out a 16 from all pieces of these pieces, okay? And I'm going to do this. I like it when my coefficient for the t squared term is positive. So I'm going to divide out a negative 16 from all of these, okay? So check this out, what's going to happen. When I do that, so I'll pull that out. So this will still be 0 equals, we'll still have that negative 16 out in front, okay? And then what's going to be left, negative 16 divided by negative 16 is just 1. So we'll be left with t squared minus 4t minus 5. Okay, and all that's equal to 0. So I have this trinomial. I'm pretty sure that I can factor this t squared minus 4t minus 5. So I'll have 0 equals negative 16. This is going to factor into 2 binomials. Okay, 2 binomials. They'll both start with t since my leading coefficient is 1. I'm going to draw this up above here. So I'll have 0 equals negative 16. Okay, they'll both start with a t. I need 2 numbers that multiply together to give me negative 5 and add together to give me negative 4. I believe that's a negative 5 and a positive 1. Okay, negative 5 times positive 1 equals -5. -5 plus positive 1 is a -4. So what do? Now we set each piece equal to 0. Now, sometimes these things that happen are a little bit funny. So you first set -16 equals 0. Does that work? No, never. That factor will not play a part in the solution, okay? All right, and then we got t minus 5 equals 0 and t plus 1 equals 0. Now, when you solve this first one, you get t equals 5, and when you solve the next one, you get t equals -1. So which one is it? Will it take 5 seconds for the apple to reach the ground, or will it take -1 seconds for the apple to reach the ground? Some of you might be thinking, well, -1 seconds doesn't make sense. That's correct. -1 seconds doesn't make sense. So the solution to my problem is going to be that I'm looking for is t equals 5 seconds. Okay? All right. I know these are a little bit crazy, but I want you guys to do number 3. Okay?